What's up guys, it's Mega giving you my first deck for Link Evolution Master Rule 5 with the new update. We are doing a Dark Magician deck. I decided to do this because you guys I asked on stream what deck you guys wanted to show, and you all wanted Dark Magician, and also Dark Magician is the #1 highest video I have ever done, which is absolutely insane, which is I can only thank you guys for. So this is an updated version of that, and I hope I've done the deck justice. This deck is of course my own opinion at the end of the day, and it is completely cool if you guys disagree with any of the cards that are shown in this video. In fact, let me know. I'm more than welcome to, I'm more welcome to feedback. We can change some cards around, and I can see what you guys would prefer in a Dark Magician deck. And if you are struggling to make this deck or any deck I've ever shown, I highly recommend you check out the card hub, which will be in the description down below. It will tell you where to find every single card in Link Evolution, which card pack, which challenge mode, which campaign, and how rare the card is. Also in the description will be my Twitch, because I am trying to stream as much as I can on Link Evolution to help you guys play more, or get more cards. Also, in the description will be a link to the new cards added in the added in the update. So every other new card packs, they will be in there, so you can try and make as much as the new cards as possible. And with that guys, let's get into the video. Starting us off, 3 copies of Dark Magician, standard Dark Magician deck. You go through them so quick, and we'll explain why when we get to the cards. 1 copy of Dark Magician Girl. You may think, well, run. She is a brig, I'll be honest. The reason why I'm running her is because of Soul Servant and because of the Dark Magicians. You can pretty much get her straight out, because Soul Servant gets drawn an additional card and all that lot. And also she's just getting 300 attack for each Dark Magician in the grave. You can just send it to the grave with souls, so you can prevent ways to drawing her. Using the 3 copies of Magician Rod. When this card is normal summoned, you get to add a spell or trap from your deck to your hand, specifically this Dark Magician. A lot of our cards are, so that's pretty much great. It does have a graveyard effect as well, where if you activate a spell or trap during your opponent's turn, you contribute 1 spellcaster you control, add this card back to your hand. That is key. You want to do that a lot, because if you've got Eternal Souls and stuff set, you basically just tribute the Dark Magician you just resurrected with Eternal Souls. And then you get to add the rod back to your hand. You play the rod's effect, then you can just play Eternal Soul again during your opponent, during the next turn, to bring back the Dark Magician. So basically, you've had no cast and you've searched a card as well. So you really do want to keep using both effects of Magician's Rod. And then 3 copies of Magician's Souls, absolute broken card. She has 2 effects. She has a field effect and a hand effect. So her field effect is you can send 2 spell or traps from your hand or field to the graveyard, and then for each card you send, you basically get to draw a card. So you send 1 spell or trap, you're going to draw 1. You send 2, you're going to draw 2. So there is there's no such thing as a dead card in this. So the 2 cards realistically you want to send is Metamorphosis Fusion and Soul Servant, because then you get to draw additional cards on top of the draws. So basically you could draw up to 2 to 5, you could draw to 4 to 5 cards if you have the correct setup with just Magician Souls. She has another effect as well. Her hand effect is you can send 1 level 6 or higher spellcaster, so Dark Magician Girl or Dark Magician, from your deck to the graveyard. You either get special summon this card, so you can just special summon this, do that thing I've just said, and then go into the Magician's Rod and do his effect. You can do both. Or you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard to special summon 1 Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl from your grave. And because you have to send 1 from the deck to the grave anyway, it's literally a free summon. You just send it directly to the graveyard, boom, summon the monster you just sent. Absolute broken Magician Souls. 2 copies of the Interdimensional Kaiju. The reason we're running this guy is because his Dark Attribute comes in clutch with Super Polymerization. He's a Kaiju, so he interrupts a lot of plays your opponent can do, which is absolute key. Like I said, they've got a picky card that can negates, like Infinity, Chaos Max Dragon, stuff like that. He can get around as well. So, and also he's good fodder for Allure of Darkness. Going into Allure of Darkness, we've got 2 of them guys. It's limited to 2, otherwise I'd have 3. Allure is a very, very, very good card. All of our monsters are darks, So if you need to draw cards, it is there for you to get. And again, if you just think if it's a dead card in hand, you haven't got any monsters, Magician Souls can send to the grave and basically search a card off it as well. I'm running the Dark Magic attack. Normally I would take this out and add the third Allure of Darkness. I can't because Allure of Darkness is limited to 2, so I was like, what can I put in? I decided to run Dark Magic attack because it's searchable with Eternal Souls, and it can shut down every single back row your opponent has, because if you're against a Sky Striker or an Altergeist who rely on back row, Dark Magic attack destroys all spell and traps if you control a Dark Magician. It's not hard to control the Dark Magician, so pretty much you can just destroy your opponent's back row. So that's the only reason I did it. And also it's searchable with Magician's Rod as well. 3 copies of Dark Magical Circle. This is like a pot of duality. So you play it, you get to check the top 3 cards of your deck, and you get to add 1 Dark Magician or a spell or trap that specifically lists Dark Magician. So Dark Magician in its text. So the downside is if it does reveal a monster, yes, you can't add the monster from your hand. It's only a spell or trap or Dark Magician. You have to be mindful on that. The other effect is it does allow you to rearrange the cards that you checked in any order you wish, which is a nice thing as well. Also, you can, if you summon a Dark Magician, you can either normal or special summon during either player's turn. You can banish 1 card your opponent controls, basically, once per turn, which is absolutely broken. So, this is what I mean with the Dark Magician. You just keep summoning it back with Eternal Soul, you just keep banishing your opponent's cards. It's absolutely brilliant combo. 2 copies of Foolish Burial Goods. If you want to take out a card like the Mirror Force or Dark Magic attack and run 3 of these, yeah, go for it. The reason we're running this is because of draw power. So you send Metamorphose Fusion, then you get to draw a card if you return Metamorphose back to the deck, or you can send Soul Servant to the grave if you have like Dark Magician Girl in grave, and you get to draw 2 cards. Or if you just got a Dark Magician, you get to draw a card. So you see what I mean? Like Foolish Burial Goods literally equals a free draw. Like you either send the Metamorphose or you send the Soul Servant. It's completely up to you which one you want to send. Illusion Magic, you tribute 1 spellcaster, you get to add 2 copies of Dark Magic attack from your deck to your hand, and it's a quick play. So for instance, if you've got the Magician's Souls and you've got Magician's Rod and your opponent tries to counter them, like for instance if you normal summon Magician's Rod and your opponent tries to Ash Blossom or anything like that, you can just chain with Illusion Magic, tribute it, and at least search two Dark Magicians off it. And that's pretty much what Illusion Magic does. 1 copy of Metamorphose Fusion, like I said, you're not going to use this card for fusion summoning. You're basically just going to use this card to return it from the graveyard back to the deck, and then you get to draw 1 card, which is great, just basically free, and you just keep recycling it with the Foolish Burial Goods, and also it's fantastic fodder for Magician's Souls, because I say you send this card to the grave with Magician's Souls, search card, then you just return Metamorphose Fusion back to the deck, and you get to draw an additional card as well. So you see what I mean? So it's absolute drawing for days. Secrets of Dark Magic. This is basically our polymerization in the deck. It's a fusion and a ritual card, so you can fusion summon 1 fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field, including Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl as fusion material. So this can basically bring out the Dark Magicians, and it also uses Dark Magician Girl. So say you've got Dark Magician Girl in hand who's dead, and you've got Dark Magicians already set up, you don't really want to fusion summon them. You can just fusion summon the Dark Magician Girl and get her in the graveyard. You don't have to touch Dark Magician on the field. And also, I mean, we're not going to go through its ritual effect, so let's not even bother about that. Because it is obviously a card that lists Dark Magician, it's searchable with Dark Magic Circle, it's searchable with Magician's Rod, and also it's a quick play as well, so you can play this during your opponent's turn or during the battle phase, so you can get an extra attack off. 3 copies of Soul Servant. This is like a mini pot of duality, so you get to you play it. You get to place 1 card from your hand, deck, or graveyard that lists Dark Magician or is Dark Magician, and put it at the top of your deck. Then you can banish this card from your grave and draw cards equal to the number of Pendulum monsters, Dark Magician, and or Dark Magician Girl with different names on your field or in the grave. So if you've got Dark Magician Girl in grave, you draw 2 cards. Now you see why I'm running Dark Magician Girl, because I want to draw that additional card, and it's very easy to manipulate it with, like, say, with souls and with souls and like a lot of cards to discard. Dark Magician Girl, so you can do that. And that's right, it's absolutely broken. Just again, more cards to draw from, especially with souls as effect. 2 copies of Super Poly, absolute broken. They've limited to 2 guys. They brought it from 1 to 2, and it's absolutely broken. You can see that we run a few fusions. I'll get to them when we get to them. But yeah, basically this card is there to disrupt your opponent's plays. It is a quick play, so you can do it your opponent's turn as well. Your opponent cannot negate this card no matter what. You basically discard. You have to discard a card to play it. So again, you can send the Dark Magician Girl to the grave to set her up, and it's just great to get rid of your opponent's pesky cards. Upstart Goblin, 1 more draw power, and if you're getting opponent 1,000 life points, but it's just there for more draw power. Traps, we have 2 copies of Eternal Soul. Every Dark Magician is unaffected by your opponent's card effects, so no matter what, they won't be affected. It does have a steep cost, where if this card leaves the field, all monsters you control are destroyed, so please be mindful with Eternal Soul. It does have a few nice effects, though, to back it up, which is you can special summon 1 Dark Magician from your hand or grave once per turn during either player's turn, which is great because you can summon it from the graveyard that you're recycling, and also you can summon it from the hand as well that you just searched. Also, we can add Dark Magic Attack from our deck to our hand as well if you want. Like, you could play the Eternal Soul to summon our Dark Magician, then next turn just search out the Dark Magic Attack and just nuke your opponent's back row if they've set any. So you can do both plays. 2 copies of Get Out. Get Out is like if your opponent special summons or has just 2 special summon monsters from the extra deck, you can just send them both to the deck. This is like a Dark Magician control deck. So I was up against a deck earlier, like this was yesterday when I was using a different deck. Someone was playing a Heroes and he was able to summon Evil Hero Malicious Bane, Elemental Hero Sunshine, a Vision Hero, and another Vision Hero in 1 turn. It was like if I had Get Out, I'll be able to send 2 of them directly back to the deck. I don't need to worry about them. Maybe the Bane and the Sunrise. You see what I mean? Then his play would have been a lot weaker. So Get Out is a really nice trap card. 1 copy of Magician's Navigation. Again, because it's a spell or trap, it's searchable with Dark Magic Circle. This is like a different version of Eternal Soul, where you can only special summon a Dark Magician from your hand. It's only from your hand, while Eternal Soul does from the hand or graveyard. But the bonus of Magician's Navigation is that you can, after you special summon the Dark Magician from your hand, you are then able to special summon a level 7 or lower Dark Spellcaster directly from your deck. So you can summon another Dark Magician, you can play the Dark Magician Girl, you can play Magician's, so you can play the Souls. You can literally do whatever you want with this card. And also it has a graveyard effect where you can banish it from the grave if you control a Dark Magician to target 1 face-up spell or trap your opponent controls and negate it until the turn's end phase. So that's actually a nice trap as well. 1 skill drain shuts down your opponents, guys. Like you don't give a crap what your opponent does, because if you have your board set up with like the circle, the Eternal Souls and stuff, you do not particularly care about skill drain, because you're just going to keep banishing your opponent's monsters with Eternal Soul and Dark Magic Circle. So yeah, like skill drain just shuts down your opponent from using a lot of monster effects, and they'll just be like, yep, GG's. And Solemn Brigade, we've got 2 Judgment and we've got 2 Strikes. If your opponent would summon a monster or activate a spell or trap, you pay half your life points to get the activation. That's what Judgment does. And Strike would be if your opponent would special summon a monster or would activate a monster effect, you pay 1500 life points to negate and activate it, negate and destroy. So again, this is more like controlling the field, making it play to your speed, your style. So like I said, you've got like cards in our extra deck and like the magic cards to banish your opponent's cards to keep them in play, like Super Poly, like to control their cards. Then your traps are there to like stop them from playing effects, like get rid of their cards, and then obviously banish, like bring back your monsters. It literally just there to keep your opponent's monsters in check. And then we have finally the 1 copy of Storming Mirror Force. Again, like I say, with the whole keeping your opponent's monsters in check. If they attack you, it returns all monsters your opponent controls back to the hand. So obviously if you play from the extra deck, they go back to the extra deck. And because this card doesn't target and it doesn't destroy, it gets around a lot. It gets around every single monster that says cannot be targeted by card effects, also cannot be destroyed by card effects. It gets around every single one. And that's it for the deck, guys. Going on to the extra deck, we are running the 1 copy of Elshadar Winder, Dragos Depelia, Violet Chimera, Starving Venom, Dark Magicians, and Guard Dragon Armaduke for the fusions. Now you might be thinking, why am I running these? What is the purpose of these, especially like stuff like Elshadar Winder? Let me explain. Because we are running super polymerization, we can abuse the opponent's fields, again with the control. You don't need to run Rinder or Violet Chimera. I'm running them because I believe those are gonna, like, Shadows and especially Salamangreats are gonna be two of the best decks going into this game, like format wise. So especially Salamangreats, they are very powerful. Even with the Xyz band, they are still very powerful. So if your opponent, like, because all of our monsters are darks, especially you've got the Dark Magicians and the Rods, the dark is already taken care of. So if your opponent summons any Shadow monster, Super Polium going to Winder, it shuts them down because they can only summon one monster per turn. And I have a Shadow Evoke deck where if someone did this to me, like if someone just winded me, I'd literally be screwed. I would be able to do a lot because you can abuse you can really abuse the other ones, the Evoke Shadows. Predaplant, Dragos Depelia, we can actually summon this ourselves legit. It's one fusion monster plus a dark. Again, we have the darks, we can have our own fusions, so we can play Dragos Depelia. But if your opponent's using fusions, like Ancient Gears have fusions, Atrixar has a fusion, the Borals have a fusion, Salamangreats have a fusion, Blue Eyes has a fusion. You see what I mean? There's a lot of fusions in a lot of decks, guys. So all Dragos Depelia does is it's like a infinite impermanence but in monster form. So once per turn you can target one face-up monster on the field. Like, this is a quick effect as well, so you can play it during your opponent's turn. You can put a predator counter on it. As long as it has a predator counter, its effects cannot activate. And as I say, Super Poly is literally broken, it really is. And then Violet Chimera. Violet Chimera is a Salamangreat plus a Link monster. Again, we have our own links, especially if you decide to summon Magician Soul because you're going to Link Karibo, or if you want to go into IP Masquerena. And then if you're going to Salamangreat player, say they've got a Beast monster out, or they've got like one of their boards, because I think in order to play a lot of the Salamangreat cards, like monsters, they have to have a monster on the field or stuff like that. So if they have like to summon a monster, boom, just Violet Chimera then with Super Poly, then that way it shuts down their plays and you get a beastie monster on the field. And Violet Chimera gains attack equal to half the combined original attack of the monsters that were used to summon it. And if it attacks a monster whose attack points are different, it basically doubles its attack, which is absolute beast. Starving Venom Fusion Dragon requires 2 dark monsters. All of ours are dark, like I say. You can even steal your opponent's dark monsters, so that's even better as well. Again, with Super Poly, Starving Venom is a very good card. So if it's fusion summoned, you can target one special monster your opponent controls. It gains its attack. It gains that monster's attack. So Starving Venom will always deal with 2800 points of damage. And also Starving Venom can target one level 5 or higher monster your opponent controls. It gains that monster's attack. It gains that monster's name and effect, which is very, very powerful. And finally, if your opponent would nuke Starving Venom, it nukes all monsters your opponent or special monsters your opponent controls as well. So Starving Venom, great. Again, because we're doing this with Super Poly, you can play during your turn as well and just go for an extra attack if you want. The Dark Magicians, most probably the one you're going to go into near enough all the time. Once per turn, if a spell trap is activated, couldn't care less how the spell are activated. Even your opponent activates a spell, you can draw an additional card, which is just beast, more draw power. Then if it's a spell or trap, which majority of our cards are, you get to set it, and if it was a quick play spell or trap, you basically you can activate it the same turn. And finally, if this card is destroyed, you can summon both Dark Magician and Dark Magician Girl. So you see why, again, I'm running the Dark Magician Girl. Just because the Dark Magicians can basically give you back 2 free monsters. And also, guys, this is a Dark Magician and Dark Magician Girl plus Spellcast. Plus 1 Spellcaster. So if your opponent is running a Spellcaster, like if you're against Altergeist, again, Super Polymerization, you can go into the Dark Magicians with your Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl and just go in and use your opponent's monster to go into this card. And then finally, we're using World Chalice, Guard Dragon, Armaduke. 3 links to summon this card. If this card this card can attack all monsters your opponent controls once per turn, which is an absolute beast. If this card declares an attack against a Link monster, you can banish 1 Link monster with the same Link rating from your field or graveyard, and This card like destroys that monster instantly and deals damage equal to its original attack. So say for instance we're going up against we have you're going up against Nightmare Phoenix and you've got IP Masquerena either on your field or on your grave. You're literally just going to banish the IP Masquerena and then your opponent's going to take 1900 points of damage. It's just something like that. It's a really great effect. And then going on to the Exceeders, we're on Ebon, Illusion Magician. This is kind of, don't skimp on this card. Don't think, oh, it's a crap card and I'm going to play this. This card is actually fantastic. 2 level 7 monsters. It has the same stat line as Dark Magician, so that's why the reason you might think, why should I even run this card? The reason why is because once per turn you can detach one Exceeds material, special summon a Dark Magician basically from the deck, also from your hand or deck, which is absolutely fantastic in case you haven't got Eternal Soul. But because you basically send the Dark Magician to the grave to play this effect, because with the overlay unit, your graveyard is set up with the Eternal Soul, so if you do have the Eternal Soul, you can pretty much summon 2 Dark Magicians in a turn. It's just broken. And your Dark Magic Circle can like pop a card as well if that's in play. And also, if a normal spellcaster type monster, basically a Dark Magician, declares an attack, this card again allows you to banish 1 card your opponent controls. So if you combine this with Circle, you can banish 2 cards your opponent controls each turn, which is absolutely insane. And then Big Eye, in my opinion, the best generic rank 7. You can just detach 1 Exceeds material, steal 1 card your opponent controls, or 1 monster your opponent controls. Simple as that. Then you can use Big Eye and that card you just stole for Link for even going to even higher Link plays, or just going to like fusions. Then we're going on to the links. We're running IP Masquerena. During your opponent's turn, you can immediately link summon away with this card going to a higher play. So a nice little combo is, again, if you've got the Eternal Souls, you can resurrect the Eternal Souls, and if you've got the Circle, you can pop a card your opponent controls. And then with IP Masquerena's effect, you can tribute herself and the Dark Magician, and we can go into Cerberus, which again would then pop another card your opponent controls and send it back to the deck. That's why IP Masquerena is very, very powerful. And also the Link monster summoned by her effect cannot be destroyed by card effects. So she is very strong. Do not underestimate Masquerena. We're running the Nightmare Cerberus, Phoenix, and Unicorns. So Cerberus is stronger than ever because of Master Rule 5. You can discard 1 card, target 1 special summon monster that was in the main monster zone, so not in the extra monster zone, it has to be in the main. You can destroy it, and then if this card was co-linked when you activate its effect, you get to draw an additional card. Nightmare Phoenix does exactly the same, but it's with a spell or trap, so you just discard 1 card, target 1 spell trap your opponent controls, destroy it. If it was co-linked, you get to draw a card. Then Nightmare Unicorn, like I just said, it's you can discard 1 card, target 1 card on the field, return it to the deck, and again, if this card was co-linked when you activate the effect, you get to draw that 1 card. So, very useful. And then we're using the Link Spider. It is 1 normal monster, so the only way you can use this is to use Dark Magician. The reason why we have this is because you can tribute the Dark Magician, and then again, Eternal Soul, you can just use Eternal Soul, just bring it back, Dark Magic Circles, and then banish another card. You see what I mean, guys? You're just banishing cards like for days, and then so you can just keep building up the Link play, because then you can go into a Link 2 play, like Masquerena, then next turn, then you just pass, your opponent draws, you just play Soul again, so you just play Eternal Souls again, boom, you pop another card because of Dark Magic Circle, Masquerena go into Link 3. You see what I mean? And that's just by going into Link Spider. Absolute broken, absolute broken. And then Link Karibo, 1 over 1 monster, so Magician Souls. The reason why I'm doing Magician Souls, guys, because again, if you're going to normal summon, or if you're going to special summon her, or normal summon her to play the effect to draw cards, then you're like, right, what can I do? I've got a monster with 0 attack. Just Link summon into Link Karibo. Link Karibo's effect is you can should your opponent attack into it, you just tribute this card, that monster's attack bonus goes down to 0. Can actually save you at hide a lot of times, Link Karibo. And then finally, Mech Knight Crusader Avra Max. While this card is link summoned, is on the field, your opponent cannot target cards with other cards you control card effect, and also they can not attack any other monster, which is just Beast. Once per turn, or once during a battle, during damage calculation, if this card battles a special summon monster, this card basically gains that monster's attack. which is just absolutely insane. And if this card is special summoned, it's sent to the graveyard. It's like a unicorn where you can shuffle one card on the field back into the deck. So that's actually fantastic as well. So that is it for the deck, guys. I actually really enjoy playing this deck. Yes, it can break, but a lot of decks can break. It all depends on obviously what you play, and like what cards you play, and obviously what cards you draw with all the search cards you've got. If you want to like say any ways you can change it, let me know in the comment section down below. I'm more than welcome to feedback, and also I get to see what changes you guys would make as well. The next decks I'm gonna make, which we did on stream, like we agreed on stream, is going to be a Lunalai and when I finally master it, the evoked shadows. Then we'll be doing deck requests. I will try my best, guys, to keep up with the deck requests. I am on my own, so you do have to kind of like give me some time. I can't make every deck super quick, and I will try to keep up to date with every single deck request that we have. And if you want to see this deck in action, stay tuned for the deck replays, and you get to see the power of the Dark Magicians, especially with Magician Soul. And that's it, guys, from me. Take care wherever you are in the world. Stay safe, stay healthy. Goodbye. Take care.